In news that will be surprising to no one, so long as they pay attention, the Ashley Biden diary is confirmed real. Ashley Biden wrote a letter to a judge, an emotional letter confirming that it was real. And the Gateway Pundit reporting this some 2 weeks later. Now, the reason why this segment matters, despite the fact most of you already knew the diary was real, is that many Democrats and liberal pundits argued that we don't know these claims about showering with with his daughter were true because despite the fact all the evidence suggests the diary is real, someone could have made a fake page. Okay. Well, let's start from the beginning here. There is a diary from Ashley Biden that says inappropriate things happened. She was sexualized at a young age, took showers with her dad. Probably not appropriate, she says. Appropriate's a crazy way to describe that. Now, what happened? Going way back, there is this woman staying at some other person's house, finds a bag with Ashley Biden's stuff in it. There's a diary in it. Her and some guy take it and sell it to Project Veritas. Veritas tries to confirm it, doesn't want to publish it. And I don't know if they sold it, but it gets passed off to an outlet called the National File. The National File then publishes some excerpts. Now we have criminal charges against the woman who took the diary. Project Veritas had many of these employees, and James O'Keefe had been raided by the FBI over this. So we know that law enforcement was taking it seriously. We know that the stuff belonged to Ashley Biden because people were criminally charged. Yet despite all of this and knowing the chain of custody for the diary, many liberal pundits and Democrats said, not true. And it's not true. It's not confirmed. In fact, Snopes for the longest time says unproven because even though we can prove the chain of custody, for all we know, the National File made fake pages and uploaded them claiming they came from the diary. How about that? Which is a pretty wild thing to say because you can then argue anything ever is fake. The New York Times comes out and says Donald Trump's tax returns. We can go, oh, well, how do we know they didn't fabricate it? Well, I mean, they may have. That can happen, but we don't make that assumption when we can track the chain of custody and law enforcement is tracking these people down. That seems silly. But here we are. The big news is that a couple of weeks ago, Ashley Biden, about a month ago, submitted a letter to a judge, which has now been made public. I believe the letter is, in fact, public here. It was submitted to the court, and Snopes has formally updated their article as true. Here it is. Did Ashley Biden accuse Joe Biden of inappropriate behavior in a leaked diary? She did. True. They said it was unproven. And I mean, I was flabbergasted because I'm like, look, man, people are going to jail over this. The argument that after all of that known to be true, the National File made a fake page and published it is ridiculous. And of course, I was proven correct. But many liberal pundits kept saying, well, it's not proven. Well, bad news for y'all. We have this. A diary authored by U.S. President Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley Biden, describes action taken toward her by her father when she was a child as probably not appropriate. True. Note, on April 29th, 2024, Snopes changed the rating of this fact check from unproven to true based on testimony provided by Ashley Biden. In an April 8th letter to a New York judge requesting jail time for one of the two people convicted of stealing her diary, Biden wrote, I will forever have to deal with the fact that my personal journal can be viewed online. Previous versions of this fact check noted strong evidence the diary existed, but argued that no source had authenticated the contents of the pages published online, writing that the authenticity of photographs reported to be from a diary is a separate question from the factual existence of a diary. I love their duplicitous, disingenuous lies. That's the game they play. We know the diary exists, but are the pages real? Okay, well, we know the documents in the Trump case exist, but did the feds fabricate them? Maybe the documents were just pictures of cats. Donald Trump is accused of having documents stored in Mar-a-Lago, but maybe the feds fabricated them. Unproven. They've not proven Trump did anything wrong. I mean, come on. Okay, the argument we're having over the Trump documents case is not whether the documents are real. It's whether or not the president has a right to retain his records from his presidency with plenary declassification powers. No case involving classified documents has ever been brought against anyone else. Hillary Clinton had her staff, or I should say her staff, smashed cell phones with hammers and used a software called BleachBit to destroy the information on a server. And Mar-a-Lago is really funny Donald Trump was like, Hillary Clinton, her staff, they're smashing the phones with hammers, and the computers, they used BleachBit. It's called BleachBit, and then Trump's like, nobody knows what that is, so I say acid. They pour acid on it. It's funny because in I think it was 2016, the debate, one of my favorite things ever. Let me pull this one up. NBC News fact check acid wash. This is one of the greatest posts of all time that still exists to this day. Oh, I love it so much. Welcome to the mainstream media. NBC News says, fact check. Trump says Clinton acid washed her email server. She did not. She didn't. The claim. Trump says Clinton acid washed her email server. The truth, Clinton's team used an app called BleachBit. She did not use a corrosive chemical. Ding. You see how they do this? Trump wasn't literally saying she poured acid on a computer. He said she used BleachBit. Acid washed was a reference to purging the system. Jeez, these people are insufferable. So you have Donald Trump at his Mar-a-Lago speech saying, I say BleachBit, but nobody knows what that means. So we say acid washed. She put acid on the computer and, well, she poured acid. It's a joke. Thanks, fact checkers. This is the letter that was published, and we have my friends definitive proof the diary is real. This is a public letter in the court case, April 8th. Dear Chief Judge Swain, in connection with the sentencing of Miss Harris scheduled for tomorrow, enclosed, please find a letter from our client, Ashley B. Biden. She writes, Dear Chief Judge Swain, I am deeply saddened that I even have to write this letter because my personal private journal was stolen and sold for profit. The point of the theft, I assume, was to be able to peddle grotesque lies by distorting my stream of consciousness thoughts. The reason I decided not to attend tomorrow's sentencing in person is because it would only increase my pain. Nonetheless, I write to ask your honor to sentence the defendant to time in prison. The defendant's actions can constitute one of the most heinous forms of bullying, not to mention a complete violation of my privacy and personal dignity. After being the victim of a crime in my early 20s, I developed PTSD. The journal that was stolen was part of my efforts to heal. I'm a private citizen targeted only because my father happened to be running to be president. In other words, the extensive work I have done to move past my trauma was undone by Miss Harris's actions. The defendant's actions have created a constant environment of anxiety, fear, and intimidation in which my innermost thoughts are constantly distorted and manipulated. Although the criminal act happened more than 3 years ago, because of the publicity it drew, exactly as Miss Harris intended, I am constantly re-traumatized by it. I will forever have to deal with the fact that my personal journal can be viewed online. Repeatedly, I hear others grossly misinterpret my once private writings and lob false accusations that defame my character and those of the people I love. Her actions were not only re-traumatizing to me, but constitute a horrific trauma in and of themselves. This ongoing harm is a direct result of Miss Harris's intentional actions. I ask your honor to sentence Miss Harris to time in prison, followed by lengthy probation. She should be held accountable for what she has done. Not only did she demonstrate a complete lack of morality, she lacks any respect for the rule of law as well. Among other things, she has failed to appear in court 12 times. My goal in asking your honor to impose a term of incarceration is to ensure that any other woman isn't bullied and shamed like this ever again. The despair I have often felt will never truly go away, But I ask your honor to hold Miss Harris accountable so that she thinks twice before doing it to someone else. I've spent much of my life trying to speak up for those who cannot find voices. I'm fortunate enough to have found mine, and I use it today and every day to make sure that bullies are held accountable. Finally, I worry that a non-incarceratory sentence will send a message to her and others like her that it's okay to violate and exploit others for your own personal gain, regardless of the humiliation and pain it causes. Please send a message that these types of damaging criminal actions will not be tolerated. I thank your honor for your consideration. Question: should the woman who acquired the diary go to jail? Well, I will put it this way. I don't know. I won't say I know enough about the inner workings of this case to say one way or another. What I can say is a few things. This woman took the bag from someone's house that Ashley Biden had left it there. I do not believe you have a right to do that. Some people have argued it was discarded property. I disagree. That's ridiculous. I've left a backpack at a friend's house before, and I don't expect someone to take it. I've left my bike at a friend's house before for a couple weeks once, and I don't expect it to be destroyed. I expect my friend to be like, dude, hey, come get your bike, okay? It's been here long enough. And I go, oh, sorry about that, man. I've been traveling, things like that. In this instance, this woman sold the diary. I believe that's correct. She sold it. If this woman had said, I found this bag and it looks like Ashley Biden's diary in it, maybe it should be given off to a journalist. Oh, okay, that I get. But I think when you look at the fact that they found it and immediately like, oh man, we're going to make so much money, shows malicious intent. It wasn't about the betterment of society. It wasn't about uncovering secrets about a man who may be president. It was about personal profit. I agree. Now, I'm not going to pretend that that instantly qualifies you for jail or anything like that. Whatever. But the other argument here is that this woman probably shouldn't go to jail because while it may be intrusive to read the diary of this woman, understanding who would rule this nation, I mean, that's public interest. I wouldn't recommend taking people's private diary writings or letters just because their family member's running for president. No. I say in this circumstance, finding a bag at someone's house with a diary in it and then saying this matters. Well, I think in that case, it may be a little different. That is, there is a public need to know exception. That being said, I don't think selling the diary puts you in that position. It seems that selling the diary to people critical of this administration just shows you intended to make money by taking someone else's property. It's an interesting story. But what I can say is this. We can argue all day and night about the prison sentence or the probation sentence or whatever. I don't really care. They can figure that out. What I can tell you is the diary is real. And what was said in this diary, it's real. Showers with his daughter. The Krasensteins, everybody loves them, the liberal pundits, have argued parents shower with the kids all the time. Yeah, what? When they're like 1 or 2, maybe. But I find it very strange that in order to defend Joe Biden, who according to some reports is called Pedo Pete by his own son, they'd say dads take showers with their kids all the time. It is true. Parents will take showers with their little kids to help them when they're little kids. We don't know the age of Ashley. And also, many parents, if not the majority, bathe their kids while not in the shower with them. So I think it's a very strange thing to defend someone who says it was inappropriate that this happened. Probably inappropriate. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.